Bill Belichick doing his best Gene Hackman impression by putting this class together like the replacements.
For the moment, it's going to be tough enough just putting an offense and defense together in less than a week.
We're going to go a different way.
Different way.
Here's a list of people I've been keeping my eye on over the years. They've all played football somewhere, not all of them in the pros, but they all have something unique to bring to the game. We're going to take those people and try to put together a winning team. If nothing else, they should be fun to watch. Daniel Bateman, SWAT team officer, awarded the Purple Heart for losing a kidney during the Gulf War. He was a walk-on at Michigan State before he gave up football and sneaked back into service for one more tour of duty.
You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Ross, the Tar Heel, and in this huddle, baby, we're going to talk about North Carolina's class following National Signing Day on 2025, man. And just as the intro alluded to, I feel like we've got a little bit of a replacements action going on here, bro. Bill Belichick comes in late. Heels kind of had to piece together a stinking class. And that's what I want to talk about here, okay? Now, the purpose of this video is not to individually look at each recruit or transfer. We've kind of been doing that, you know, as the recruits have come in over the last course of 2 or so months, man. But I want to kind of talk about the class as a whole, okay? And I want to start off by looking at UNC's recruiting classes since 2019 when Mack Brown came back to UNC in order to kind of, you know, maybe mirror them off of one another, if you will. Now, Carolina was 32nd in 2019, 16th in 2020, 14th in 2021, 11th in 2022, 28th in 2023, and 32nd in 2024. That is an average of 22nd in the country, the actual recruiting class that is. Now, in that span, the Heels gathered 46 4-stars and 4 5-stars according to 24/7 Sports, man. And that was in the 6 years that Mack was in Chapel Hill. Now, Carolina's overall class in 2025 with the 14th ranked transfer portal haul is 32nd in the country as well, which is really crazy, man, considering the Heels were at like 90 something in the last days of Mack Brown 2.0. Now, Carolina signed 3 4-stars in this class, 2 of them being quarterbacks, which one of them, Torrey Newkirk, got his 4-star a little bit later, literally like a week ago, and also Bryce Baker, which is the crown jewel of the class. And they also signed 4-star edge rusher Chinedu Oniagoro, 22 3-stars, and a 2-star kicker with an unranked defensive lineman. Now, the transfer haul consisted of 4 4-stars, 13 3-stars, and 1 2-star kicker. I mean, Bill Belichick is out here, you know, doing some kind of Moneyball thing, and it's just crazy, dude.
This is the code that I've written for our year-to-year projections. This is building in all the intelligence that we have to project players.
Okay.
It's about getting things down to one number. Using the stats the way we read them, we'll find value in players that nobody else can see.
Now, one of the most interesting things to me about this new way of recruiting that we've seen from Coach Belichick and his staff is the national reach, okay? In 2024, out of the 33 enrollees, okay, that signed with Carolina, 11 of them were from the state of North Carolina, 8 from Georgia, 7 from Florida, 3 from Tennessee, 2 from Mississippi, which were JUCOs, 1 from Virginia, and 1 from New Jersey. That's 7 different states. That's a pretty solid, compact footprint. In 2025, the most kids that we got signed to this class, 6 from Georgia, 4 from Florida, 4 from the state of North Carolina, 2 from Virginia, 2 from New Jersey, and 1 from California, Kentucky, Texas, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, South Carolina, Louisiana, and believe it or not, we got a stinking guy from Canada, eh? That's 13 states and 2 countries. Goodness stinking gracious, bro. We're talking about from the East Coast to the West Coast, right? And that's not including all the transfers from the state of California, especially the guys that came over from Washington. It's just a completely different mindset with recruitment with this staff. Now, I've heard that there are some coaches around the state of North Carolina, high school coaches that have become a little perturbed, if you will, by Bill and the staff, looking more outward, if you will. But I guarantee you that if there are good kids inside the state, he will not hesitate to reach out to them. He's already gone to multiple high schools within the state of North Carolina, man. And I personally have mixed emotions about it because obviously I'm going to be partial to my fellow North Carolinians, However, if you have a guy like Bill that can make your brand reach further, if you will, you kind of have to take the best available, right? And, if his guys are doing the Moneyball thing, the replacements thing, and they're trying to find value, especially, being shorthanded in this off cycle, if you will, after the season because of, him being hired a little bit later on, you kind of have to take who you can get. Now, this year's haul between high school recruits and transfers includes 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers, 4 offensive tackles, 3 interior offensive linemen, 1 tight end, 1 athlete, 2 kickers, 4 edge rushers, 4 linebackers, 9 defensive linemen, 5 safeties, and a corner. Now here's the question, Tar Heel Nation, for all of you guys, okay? What positions are you most concerned about entering the spring after signing day? Now, I'm going to let you know what Russ the Tar Heel's thinking right here. And we're probably going to be over the top of each other with what we're looking at. But for me, number one, it's going to be a very easy one, okay? On offense, it's got to be the quarterback position. Now, Max Johnson returns right now. However, he's coming off of a really bad leg break, and no one really knows the status of his health, like how ready he's going to be heading into the spring. Connor Harrell, who was Carolina's number 2 second-string quarterback heading into the last year, he's recently transferred to Charlotte. Jacoby Criswell, who played the majority of the season, who was Carolina's 3rd-string guy coming out of stinking camp, he's since transferred to East Tennessee State. And then, Carolina's 4th-string quarterback, Michael Merdinger, who was, basically thrust into action in the bowl game, he's transferred to Liberty. So every quarterback that Carolina's had outside of Max Johnson is gone, basically. And Max Johnson is coming off of a really bad injury. So that leaves us Mr. Ryan Brown, who was a sophomore transfer out of Purdue, which I've heard that the staff is, pretty excited about. I guess they kind of looked at him and what he was able to accomplish with a very poor offensive line. At least that's what I've heard. And I think that they have a lot of high hopes for Ryan Brown. 4-star freshman Bryce Baker, the crown jewel of the class. Obviously, everybody was excited when Bryce actually, confirmed his commitment to North Carolina after the hiring of Bill Belichick. And then, like I said, Atori Newkirk out of Virginia recently got his 4-star, and he is also a freshman. So you basically got Max Johnson, Ryan Brown, Bryce Baker, and Atori Newkirk in that quarterback room, man. And that is an extremely young quarterback room, aside from, obviously, Max, who we don't know if is going to be able to go. So it's going to be extremely interesting to watch this battle play out, leading up to spring. Going to be an exciting room, bro. And it's really anybody's position to take at this point. Now, on the defensive side of the football, it's 100%, bro, got to be the interior at the defensive tackle position, which is the most worrisome to me. Obviously, Travis Shaw is gone. Joshua Harris is gone. Basically, Carolina's 2 deep is out of here because they were all upperclassmen or they transferred. So, returning, mid 3-star Rodney Laura, mid 3-star Leroy Jackson, mid 3-star Peter Pazanski, who can kind of slide into that middle. 4-star Joel Starlings, right? Those are really your returning possible interior guys right now. They're all incoming second-year dudes, and they actually had almost 0 burn last year. So not much experience in the middle of that defensive front, bro. That concerns me. Now, high 3-star David Ankrum, mid 3-star Terry Nwabuisi Ezeala, and Nico Maggio from Georgia. 3-star Kamarian Thomas out of Brooklyn, New York. 3-star Yasir Smith out of South Carolina. 3-star Trey Giddens out of Virginia. And Ladarian Williams from Georgia come in from high school. And then obviously we got the 3-star transfer defensive tackle CJ Mims, who is coming over from East Carolina in the transfer portal, man. It's a ton of youth in the interior of that defensive line, man. And one of the hardest places to come in and make an immediate impact from high school to the college level is right there in the stinking trenches, man. It can't be much worse than last year, though, with 5-star Travis Shaw and Joshua Harris basically standing straight up every time and getting pushed around last year. So that's going to be super interesting to see if we can get any of these young guys to really get any kind of interior push, man, or not, at least just to you know, hold the line of scrimmage, if you will, man. And then obviously you got the 10-day spring portal after spring camp, which I don't know to this point exactly how active the North Carolina Tar Heels, Bill Belichick and his staff will be, man. So I want you, Tar Heel Nation, to let me know what you think about this haul. You know, especially the fact that it's on short notice. The difference between the recruiting class, high school class, and the transfer class, and how excited, or what are some players within that class that you think, you know, could immediately or potentially have, you know, actual impacts on this UNC football team in 2025. So if you haven't already, man, do me a favor, dude. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel, especially if you're a stinking Tar Heel football fan. And we'll catch you on the next one, baby. Go Heels.